So this person is telling me emotional healing makes no sense. There is a physiological, nutritional, and biochemical causes for leaky gut, candida, and eczema. If you're going to spread pseudo-scientific nonsense, at least put a disclaimer that what you are saying does not work. I'm going to put a disclaimer that my stuff worked for me, and if you so choose to, with your heart, listen. If something feels right for you, you follow that. If it doesn't feel right for you, then, following me and my channel isn't for you. I get it. I really get it. And I understand completely. I grew up in a household that is super into science. And I was in the sciences, before going into any of this. I kid you not. I was in pharmacy school. I was, debating, and I had prerequisites in going into medicine. So I was all about understanding that there are so many different causes and understanding things on such a deep biological, physiological level. So for me to get to this point and just randomly say emotional healing, I went through a lot to come to this understanding from a deep level. Everything starts from energy, and I'm not trying to sound like this out there person or spiritual person, because I know that a lot of logical based people, I was in that, and I'm surrounded by it too, and it's just it's kind of this disharmony between logic and the heart. It's just people think that spiritual people or religious people or these people they're in their own world, and then these people think that logical people, they don't know anything. But it's really understanding that we need to come together. And it was really hard for me, being in this world and going to this world and then coming back to this world and finding some middle ground to explain this to people, is that yes, it's very important to look at the physical aspect of things. It's important to understand that there is a physiology in play, that there are things working, and there's things to support this physiological aspects of healing or physical aspects of healing, which we can do in the physical world. So that's like exercise, yoga, in eating a certain way, taking supplements if you need to, and we have just so much information on what to do for the physiology, for the biochemical or nutritional. It's all over the internet. It's in hundreds of books. It's everywhere. These approaches, the Western paradigm in healthcare is just full of this crazy focus on the physical. What I'm trying to say is that the physical is not separate from the emotional. The physical is not separate from spiritual, from psychological. It's all together. To think that we are just physical and that we should just heal the nutritional, the biochemical, the physiological, yes, I'm saying that. And the reason why I'm so heavy on my truth and my work and my channel on emotions, and there are people that have, read my stuff, that are following my stuff, they're finding real results after trying everything else. So my kind of work isn't for someone who just got irritable bowel or candida, and they're going to listen to me, because I know that you might think, okay, that doesn't even make sense. And I was there too. I mean, at first you Google how to heal, and then you go into the diet, you go crazy into the diet, and I did that. I'm not saying that I didn't, and I'm not saying that it's not important, but I literally did so many things with diet and went to all these different experts, and know the inside outsides of different kind of gut protocols, cleansing protocols, detoxes, Chinese medicine diets, and they're all wonderful to support the physical aspect of healing. But when stress comes into play, I still had these issues. I still had to rely on a certain regimen or diet to maintain or kind of keep my symptoms at bay. But how about living a life where I can just eat and not worry about what I'm eating, and not worry about Is this organic? Is this gluten-free? Is this dairy-free? Is this sugar-free? I can't have this ice cream. I can't have this pizza. So I've come to understand that it's so much deeper than just what we eat. It is how we eat it. So that's where I explore, and I have very much emphasized my work on the relationship, or the emotional relationship aspect of things. So healing your relationship around food, healing your relationships in general. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say that people who have leaky gut, people who have Candida, there's such an anxiety around relationships. There's such a tension. There is a difficult parent involved. There is a stressful upbringing involved. There is emotions that have not been talked about. There is, sometimes we're stuck in our heads. There is some ways, some part of broken family. And maybe it doesn't seem broken because we're not beaten black and blue. And, in general, yes, mom and dad love us and our siblings are fine and it's normal. It looks normal because that's all we know. But when we actually take a step back and we look at the psychology of things and go into therapy, like I have, we start to see that a lot of our upbringing is quite emotionally dysfunctional. And that's why it's so important to address this piece, because we as a physiological, biochemical kind of everything kind of being, spiritual being, everything being, we operate from a foundation, and we have to look at where does that foundation come from. It comes from our upbringing. It comes from stress. It comes from all this stuff. And we have to look at, it doesn't matter in some ways, right? You can eat the perfect things. You can do the perfect things for your health regimen. But if you are always anxious and that's all you know, or you are confused and stressed out and addicted, depressed or something, your body, your nervous system is always operating on such adrenaline, and your body is constantly in fight or flight, even when you're still. Like, you could just be still and you could still be stressed out because it's all in here. Yes, eating right and nutritional stuff and all this, these causes on a physical level are true. They are true. But there's also other things that are interconnected that are also true, that also need to be looked at. So I never want to deny that food and nutrition and looking at the biochemistry as being not important, because it is. But what's more important is that we look at actually everything, that we look at the spiritual aspect of us. And it doesn't mean that we need to believe in a God, or that we need to be a part of a religion or have some crazy spiritual practice. But spirituality just means you have some sort of trust in yourself, in your heart, in your life. Do you have some sort of faith in something that you can't see? Because if we don't have that, we're always going to be anxious in a world where we can't control everything and nothing is for certain all the time. So that's what I'm trying to say about spirituality. And the emotions is an energy that we have to look at. And there's reasons why, when we have strong gut feelings, or when we feel sick to our stomach, or when we have a heartbreak, we physically feel it as well. And it's really important to look at these parts of us that are hurt, that are in pain, that are broken from childhood inside. And it doesn't mean that you are broken as a person. It just means that there's parts of you inside that just haven't been integrated, emotionally integrated, and worked through, accepted, or in this context digested. There's a lot of experiences in life as sensitive people that we haven't taken the time to just stop and digest, because we were busy following instructions and living life according to the world around us. But when we stop to think, what is it that I want? How is it that I feel? Are these important to me? Is this who I am? Like, there's a lot of these things that we need to ask ourselves and begin to digest and to forgive certain aspects of our upbringing, to even just come to this opening that, yeah, that experience in my past really hurt me, but it's, you know, it's in the past. Yes, it's in the past, but that energy from the past that hasn't been processed, that hasn't been digested, is still in your body. And we are closed energetic systems that are in relationship with everything. So if you want to take it back to science, you look at physics. In a closed energetic system, energy can't be destroyed. So if we're constantly taking things in and we're accumulating them without letting them go, and we're holding them in and we're resisting the experiences, we're collecting more energy that doesn't belong to us. And if we have a lot of lower negative vibrational energies in our body, it's not good for the body, and it needs to be let go of. It needs to be integrated. And for people who have very sensitive bodies, we are, I believe, and it says this also in Chinese medicine texts, that the more sensitive we are, we have a greater opportunity for emotional and spiritual growth. And I also value the physiological and nutritional and biochemical aspects of healing leaky gut, Candida, and eczema. But I also really want to emphasize that we can't leave how we feel out. And that's the piece that's very much missing in our healthcare system. We have went to the amazing extents of acutely looking at something on a physiological and a physical level and in a very controlled manner. But we never sat down to sit with the patient. How's it that you're feeling? We give a diagnosis and we say sorry. And we don't really go into this feeling arena. We just kind of have this sap sympathy, and we do our best to do things. But actually, do we ever actually sit down with patients and really explore the depths of their experience? We don't. And that's something that I really want to bring forth in healthcare. That's something that my sister, as a PhD nurse right now, her research is all about emotions in cancer care. Because we don't look at these emotional experiences as super important. We need to look at all this. And if we're coming as a whole, as a healthcare system, we need to start looking at everything. Diet. So it's like, it's a long journey. It's like going from just drugs and controlling things with drugs and chemo and all these controlled things to understanding that it is diet, it is this, it is that, it is experiences, it is our lifestyle, it's so many things. But then when you just kind of go on this crazy journey of health, when I've tried this and then this and then this and then understand this and understand that diet doesn't work and understand that I needed something more, and then going into meditation, going into therapy, going into a subconscious mind, going into healing the energies, going into Reiki, going into so many things. I'm like, what is it that I'm looking for? And I'm going crazy, and I'm like meditating, I'm like literally trying everything out there. And the answer was inside of me. And a lot of us come to this journey of authenticity where we're like, oh my God, it's the part of me that I didn't want to face. It's the pain inside, and it's the hugest denial that we have, hugest stigma that we have in healthcare, is to not look at our mental health, not look at our emotional health, not look at us. And unfortunately, we don't look at this until end of life. Our healthcare system kind of is delayed in the way that I feel we should look at patients or look at people, is the values of a person, the experiences of a person, compassion and feelings and family and all that. We start to look at that at palliative care, but we don't look at that now because we have this weird thing of addressing everything in this acute fashion, and we don't know how to really look at chronic care. And then we get all anxious, depressed, and we're like over medicated, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're like about to just leave this planet. And then now we look at the things that are really important. We look at the heart, we look at the spirit, we look at the soul. That's all I want to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another one. Okay, bye.